I'm back. Hi. Save the game, please. To day 3 later? 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 Oh, 14 PM. Or will now reconvene with the trail on the Lana Sky. Then my didn't come back. Oh no. A stallion. Whatever will I do? That are witty quips. I'm gonna call the next witness at the stand. Officer in charge of guarding the evidence room the day of the crime. He's drinking in the, courthouse, huh? Witness, please state your name and occupation. Parlor? Oh, I'm just a man saying that you wander the trails to civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly crossing intersections when you yes, we get that. Oh no, you're the patrolman. You're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling when calling it out. The exact is Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling when you never heard Edward described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on that day of the crime took place. Is correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? Desperado's soul was boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. My job was to keep a wary eye of that bone orchid. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, this room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at the street side saloon at the time they went down. Brother, you were working? I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time to hit the trail. Can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and their ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the fingerprints activated locks from the evidence lockers? Fingerprint activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? Not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines or with following orders. Everyone's got their weakness, not only them, Mr. Prosecutor. This one seems like the trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Well, first you press everything he says, because obviously. Hold it. How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved on the security camera monitor. That room's so still. Even Tom dies in there. I'm just a caretaker who interred the recordings. You interred them. Figures of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. Nothing unusual was recorded. Tapes started to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. Guy has a flair for the dramatic, but it ain't going to do him any good. So, in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room? But in the terms of service, thank you, Chess.com. Said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? This Phoenix is now a cowboy. Ain't you heard the word I said, partner? I told you. That ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No Desperado, I know less rules getting in the way. Desperado's in the police force. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There was a rubber glove that stuck to the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner. Can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. Hey, it's spam text. How did this guy avoid being fired? This is the room protected by 2 security systems. You used to be a detective, so you're used to evidence room in the past, correct? Of course. Back in the day, my locker was a whole lot of evidence. And yeah, you didn't know about the fingerprint lock. Mechanism? Sorry, partner. I'm good with machines. Couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite incredible. Sensors in the locker handles cannot be seen. I'll know that sometimes some detectives are unaware of their presence. I mentioned that Detective Gumshoe said something like that too. Which is awkward, but you know. Anyway, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Tell us what you were doing there when the crime took place. What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Man, from my own heart. Not even an angel steak lunch is gonna be in that parlor's bungle sepia pasta. You mean fellas? You abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados you talk with, partner. That's not what I meant. Well, business has at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. This is usually where everyone says, "Did you not want to raise this year?" Out of ammo, Officer Marshall? That's right, partner. Or as you call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, you better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. I'll steal a horse is right into Caribou back west of the sunset. One thing seems clear, this Brown, despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, this doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone, everyone knows that. Apparently your superiors don't. Yeah, but for up my sleeves, I best keep my cool before I use it though, I better up the ante. Perpetrator Joe Dark, crime, serial murder, sentenced death. Edward Jones, Jason Knight, Edith Kirby, Rachel Moss. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Elizabeth Moss. Right? Yes. It's my bad. Okay. Jeb Bates, Neil Marshall. Jeb Bates. Neil Marshall. And prosecutor Miles Edwards, witness Lana Sky, Emma Sky. Negative investigators, Dan and Grant. Okay, nothing important there. Can you tell me about the other person? Nope. I'm not just hitting him with the handprint yet, right? I don't believe. But I don't have much else, though, is the thing. So I don't believe I have much else. Just in case. No, we do hit him with it. He just said I don't want to use it yet. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd that you being called to testify like this? After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime, and yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. He left a very large trail behind at the scene. To be exact, a handprint. Listen to real good partner. Like I said, I'm a caretaker of the crypt. Pay my respects. That is my rounds about once a month. Only natural, my fingerprints. Only wish it were opposite. You see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness, what is the meaning of this? The bloodstained fingerprints were at the crime scene. Blood was wiped away. However, criminal tests can reveal this. Well, Officer Marshall. There ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. You have an explanation for this, Officer Marshall? About the blood-stained fingerprints? Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints found at the scene of the crime. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in the evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained handprint. Murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. Bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See, it had nothing to do with it. At the exact same spot? Appears valid, although there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. The defense is now cross-examining the witness. Guy's hiding something, I can feel it. I can prove it. Hold it. That's because how did you put it? Pay your respects once a month? You asked for it. And one more thing. The locker happens to be mine. What? What do you mean? What I said. The locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. What's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It's strange that my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently, his fingerprints data was never removed from the locker's programming. Must have been using that fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing. Hold it. So then, what about the bloody handprint? Was it mine? No mystery. Please explain. My locker's covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened. Chances of it happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue the opposite. Chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. We ain't gonna get no you know why? Most of them completely unrelated. Unrelated. They're as different as night and day. Kind of like cereal and cereal. One gotta do a breakfast, but the other one got a type of murder. He's right. Although seemingly alike, totally different. Now let's see what homonyms have to do with this. How do you know that? I might be a loner, but I still do my job, partner. I'll keep up with the reports. There's a bloodstain at the scene, though thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. Found at the gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves having to place their hand on top of Marshall's fingerprint. Logical conclusion. We're starting to get the picture. Or get the picture, partner. The picture. Seal of the blood. In the desert. It's food for the buzzards. Only one of reality, and that's this. Security tape. Well, if my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. Didn't get us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully what you're going to do with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Now that you did your testimony, Officer Marshall. What do you mean by that? What the timing of this crime, is that right, partner? If so, that video was the only direct evidence you have. Sorry. That video was next to you. This is full of blind spots. Blind spots. Places you can't see. Cameras panning back and forth. floor isn't shown. If someone were familiar with the camera's position, you could leave the room without being caught on tape. That cloth wasn't in there the first time. He rubbed his hands off, dude. I don't have time for your speculation, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in the video that indicates Officer Marshall was present. Oh, absolutely. Very well, allow me to point out the mistake, Officer Marshall. Put carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. I like a hawk, partner. Look at the video. Oh, it hurts music. Can you just like fast forward to the end? Meekins. It's like, when does he touch the behind the stinking thing there? You know what I'm saying? He's so stinking fast. Take that. Bringing our attention back to the security camera. It's a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. These are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in the video. That was 8. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in the certain locker shown in the video. A locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. I'm waiting for his gasp. I know it's coming. Why are you rewinding so slowly? My god. Oh, the white cloth. It's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the women's room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened the locker with what? Order. It would seem that hold your horses. Sorry, partner. But you got the wrong man. What am I locking? Doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. Murderer needed to hide something, so he opened our locker and took it in. It's not my fault that happened. She was mine. Is everyone staring at me like I'm a one man? This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. Even though you brought it up earlier. Never knew your parade. But you're the only person to open that particular locker. Oh yeah? All your bluff. Say you opened that locker. Now prove it. You're just gonna be it. A fingerprint sensor? He's sweating, dude. Talked about this earlier today. Locker can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. Sheriff. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say? Any words or less? Beef jerky? Only got one word for you, partner. No. Order. Wouldn't explain yourself. This is a joke. It's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you this isn't a joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Eating beef jerky. Olay, please answer the question. What is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure this out, rest it out from here. We can. Look at the floor plans. There's no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. And Officer Meekins didn't see the Officer Marshall. That's so, then. Where was the witness? Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right, the only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? Take that! Right here. Officer Marshall was standing right there. Hmm? Officer Meekins didn't notice him standing there. It's almost as credible as Meekins' work theory. Sorry, am I dumb? He was the man? Perhaps you should think of... okay.
Take that!
Standing right here. Am I dying here, dude?
Take that!
This corner isn't on camera. This whole wall isn't on camera. Then neither is this corner over here.
Take that!
I mean, he was wearing the outfit. Am I dying here? Don't click on victim. Click on killer. Oh, where was Officer? No, Officer Marshall. He was the killer outfit. Oh no, because what's it called is right. Because Neekins is the killer in the situation. There, but that's where the victim Goodman was. It's my bad. Correct, unless the man was the Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you dressed up like Direction. That's preposterous. Officer Neekins was the detective at the crime scene. He saw the man's face, you know, for sure. And pointing out that Officer Neekins he testified about the man's reaction when he entered the evidence room and said, "Show his card, sir." Yes. And how did Detective respond? Suddenly pulled a knife on me. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. And had his ID card, why didn't you show it? Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room. But he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on the ID card. I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized that maybe wasn't. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? You got quite an imagination, partner. Yeah, a term for that I call circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence is still denying it. You're going to have to do better than that to bring a detective. Unless you have a hard evidence proof not dressed up as a victim. Can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your behavior. Oh, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving you have a shadow account? I'm going to save again because I don't want to have to go through this dialogue yet. Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim. Well, I don't have anything like that. I see the fear in your eyes, partner. Because you're the one who couldn't take that desert heat. Actions can't be happening. You obviously see the whole thing. Looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. Basics. For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside the box. Shouldn't for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. Or rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was open in the first place? What do you mean? No reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it has been. Which means he didn't originally open his locker, according to the defense's argument. Officer Jake Marshall dressed as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime, and after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. wipe the blood off. The fact that the white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is the piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all the unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is not really shot. Very well. Take another look at the security tape. Committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had opened the locker. Oh, no! I meant to fast forward. Because, like, every other game is wide to fast forward. We'll have a cut on his hand. We haven't seen his hands yet. Oh, we've seen one hand, I believe. I mean, well, maybe not a cut on his hand, but he was slashed, I believe. Fast forward. For some reason, you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman and enter the evidence room, though I don't know to what end. Yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked. And the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that. So you hid the coat in your locker. Yeah, Mark. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. Hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, you were only half as persistent then as you were today. We all wouldn't have been here now will we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did, all of it. Alright. Seems the time has come. I had to deal with that day. Couldn't just stand by and let it die. I told the detective's ID and just like him. I had to take out all the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins to knock him out. I had to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in this evidence room at 5:15. But the victim was really you? But there's only one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. No one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess he's the donor. Way too much blood for such a small donation. Pog, 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 pog. Hold it. When you say it, you mean you even have to ask harder. Yes, a non-incident. 2 years ago, 2 years have passed since that case was closed. Going to completely end with the transfer of that day. I don't know how to do it. That incident is not over. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When our case is closed, when the case will be detected through the evidence, I want to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. The case is mine. Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. I didn't hear so much about it. That day was my last chance. That's why I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. Go back. Why'd you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the initial transferal, I'll be arrested for stealing evidence we wouldn't give it anyway. You did it to fool the security camera. Get this ID card. Well, that morning of the incident. That really wasn't why Goodman started filling out that lost item report. Hopper turned his ID card. The floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. ID card had been left there by Officer Marshall. Essentially, he managed to succeed despite the lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean, the fingerprint I can unlock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open the locker yourself. But he could because the rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means the Goodman must have opened it in the locker before Officer Marshall.
Hold it!
Pulled a knife and Officer Deacon and tried to drive him off. Let's just say I was a little surprised. I don't plan on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a one in a million type of person. Making a detective for an intruder and the fact that he showed his ID. I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. When did that really get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. Sorry I had to turn out that way. Knocking him down on everything. By the way, you would have to hear that. I mean this one. I don't know what to say. So you knocked Officer Meekins out and
Hold it!
did you escape? You did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference though. Security tape is erased every 6 hours. All gone to plan, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied out your coat and you're struggling with Officer Meekins. Someone was in the security room when I came out. He would have been up. Open my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? Well, he was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is on that day, there was a murder in the evidence room to 500. But the blood found in the scene certainly indicates this crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me. I'm not dead yet, partner. You stole the evidence from the locker? Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where's that evidence? It's still missing. The locker was already empty. Someone stole the evidence. Oh, Mr. Marshall, may I ask you one more thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why'd you do this? Stealing detective's ID and jury and police officer. It's no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. You'll have serious consequences. You can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. But the salary cuts are ever a valid solution. That said, isn't your case? This one's mine. I'll do anything it takes to get the answer I'm satisfied with. When this has an unusual amount of zeal, let's hear more.
Hold it!
That case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserves that sentence. Remember the Joe Dark case? It involved serial murders, didn't it? I didn't intend to complain about how it turned out. Something that still bothers me. That trial. No one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. I'm so concerned with this. Yeah, I should say what I think is business. I had a feeling there's sooner or later involved here is related somewhere in that case. Look at the files. Perpetrator Joe Dark, crime, serial murder, sentenced to death. Edward Jones, Jason Knight, Ed Kirby, Rachel Moss, Jeb Bates, Neil Marshall. Head prosecutor, Hans Edgeworth, Sky. Goodman and Jake Marshall, Angelo Starr. Or Angel Starr.
Objection!
Objection. Mr. Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been slipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name? Marshall is mentioned in here. List of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. Years ago. You ever see the same lousy prosecutor? Where you got? What? A prosecutor? I'm talking about the king of the prosecutors award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right, he was killed. The case fell into your hands. What's his relation to you? He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Nate McGann, Deputy Chief of Police. That group of detectives that was part of worked under them. We were so desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dart. My brother fought Dark and was killed. It was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. It was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case is finally closed. I hope this to court records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I know my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. That's it? That's your reason for your insane accusations? Or insane actions? More to your brother's death. That's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, it's one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case could appear reopened. Satisfied with the resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Guiding himself into the woman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. This mystery has finally been cleared up. The murder took place at the police department that day. The thing that happened by chance never ceased to amaze. Exactly the same time as the murder of the prosecutor. Exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office. This fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance. Gotta be more than just that. So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was a real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky. But wait, a verdict wasn't mentioned in today's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder of the police department. Seems to me, someone got this wrong, partner. All the mysteries in the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Not all of them. A sole member, a murder took place at the prosecutor's office. They were suspected of this guy. Testimony of one Miss Angel Starr. Really invincible. Never response making up a single word or less. Arg. There's the rest of my case. Seems the trial is reaching conclusion, there's no doubt room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright, thank you. I didn't need to waste my time. Proving the alleged murder of the police department. There's no doubt what I proved that is true. The apparent murder of the security camera tape really was fake. But I didn't realize it would end up proving I was guilty. Now then, time for the verdict has arrived. Court finds the defendant. Hold it. Your Honor. Wait. Emma. Defense is an objection. Scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right? All the blood on the ground? Are you sure are the girl's guardian? Your Honor? Oh, in a sense. Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking for is a minute every time. Please hear me out, Mr. Edwards, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out that something minus they referred to the Joe Dark killings. Now that she mentions it, even both Sky's sisters were in that file. That's when I figured it was out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day? So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. But only one thing. The other handprint. I mean, the traces of blood found in the detective's gumshoes locker. But her fingerprints were found on it, right? I would have figured it out if I examined it scientifically. Sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. You're just allowed in without me? Insane. No. Huh? Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. At all. Isn't me mad, I'm just a high school student. I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. We can't find something wrong with them. Please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. Anyone can save on it is you. I mean, this thinking blue hedgehog was in the way. Time's up. Mr. Wright, with regard to this, the police department. Neighbors with the hour made. Appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, the handprint was discovered around here. Any problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be more of use. But still, if you can find anything wrong with the blood mark, Lana will be. Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If I ever need to concentrate, it's now. I object. This handprint left at the crime scene? Clearly, she was a contradiction. Only thing that seemed clear is you were grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intensely at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing something that hasn't been drawn on there? Yeah, something that when drawn really changed the blood mark. Praise defense and simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. All the evidence here. The question is, can you prove the missing floor plans? Sure to say, but I was confident. What about this piece of plywood? The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force, defender of the truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well, what? Gasp. That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it'd be impossible to place a handprint on the spot on the locker. What? It was hit with like 1,000 bullets. That means, means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces were not found in the locker. Look at me, I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, we get through scientifically. What do I have to do? Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? If you put it down, it would be impossible to leave it in the locker. Must mean the blood mark left there before the Blue Badger was brought in. Just one moment, I will not be allowing such far-fetched blender dash in my corner. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. February 21st, in the Bob Police Department's evidence room. Blue blood was spilled not once but twice. But how? One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trickling moment of blood fell. Problem is, the other time. Someone bled prior to the struggle but shown beyond the tape. It had to have been. Had to have been. The Goodman where he was really murdered. It's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. Production. Murderer portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be fake. However, it does not explain the blood mark on his locker. Correction. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves what occurred. I think it's the 7777777. I'll take over that one. No, who cares? Here, save over both. Prior to the officer Mika, can I just present it? No. It was opposing Detective Goodman. Another incident took place in the evidence room. That's right, the blood mark of the locker room bruises. Very well, didn't tell us. When the first incident occurred, as Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented. Boys, there's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Let's present it, yes. Inside the evidence room, the killer would have had to enter. In order to do so, the ID card would have been required. ID card, oh, the ID card record. Option begins brought the blue badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50 p.m. Crime took place before that time, and it would be 4:40. Oh, that's worth just putting me down. I would have figured you had a nerd, boy. Drop the awkwardness. Did not take a lot of time to figure out, but couldn't get me. Nope, I get it. But I don't notice it either. Clear from the luminal test, the blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim and carry his body away. But unfortunately, that's physically impossible. That would mean crime must have been taking place before Mr. Edwards entered the evidence room. For the chart again. Yes, the other one, 7777. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. Could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? As there is no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the one plausible explanation. He went in with 777777. 7 sevens. Mr. Edward, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 777777. That's 1 7 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least the president. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID number 777777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Someone who is so-called executive order. Executive officer. You don't have the authority that requires to enter suspects. That's ridiculous, just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There's one situation in which you're in such authority. Official charge filed against the executive is accepted. Official charge. You're all like, aren't you? Their cover-ups and forgeries. Well, the prosecutor's office obvious. They brought him out with Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Alright. Let me ask you a question. Yes. Not to her. The defense did over there. Your own little executive. Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we looked up her ID number. It's not 777777. Don't play with me for a fool-parter. That's not what I wanted to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. It's not an incident. That's your name as chief prosecutor. Trial 2 years ago. Did you really only use legitimate evidence? You need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor. I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago. I was in charge of the prosecution for the trial. At the time, we occasionally felt the powerlessness of the law. At least I did. Lana became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, is what you say. That's you again, Chief Prosecutor. Don't worry about trial 2 years ago. If you really present all the evidence in court, you look me an investigator in the crowd. Yeah, say this you did. Chief Prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why don't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to. Order the firm to get the murder he deserved. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence. see what I'm talking about. No, no. Rumble, rumble. Order, order, order. Lana's remarks caused such a stir. Chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. Division would have to wait until the following day. Dunk, dunk, dunk. The final day, I believe. This is still the same day. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. Sorry for what my sister said. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. It's just the way it is. Did we do in order to get him, in order for him to get the better he deserved? I didn't know. Never knew that this was the name for it. Dark killings. Everyone's heard about the killings but me. I don't know what a dark convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean, what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Your Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind incriminating piece of evidence. What did it have to do with those killings? When a Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me. What, you tried to kill me? Officer Marshall's brother was only trying to save me. That means you? Yes. I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial. I didn't see that one coming. Happened 2 years ago, was right about this time of year too. It was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. It's unusual for a thunderstorm to happen in February. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together when she finished her work. And suddenly, terrifying man came bursting into the office. Joe Dark. I think he was running from someone and let life scream at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage. But before he could, Mr. Marshall attacked. What happened? Forget it. She blinked so awkwardly. Lightning struck and the lights went out. Suddenly, bulb lighting flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw was a picture burned in my mind. Permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. Permanent picture. I remember the moment when Dark and Mr. Marshall, but you weren't able to testify about it. No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must have been why she made up the crime. Made it up. Write up bogus evidence. The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forced the evidence that Mr. Edwards used it. Edwards. Yes. I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. Couldn't have known he was being false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. Rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, it's not my fault. If they just testified properly, none of this would have happened. So it's true, even though he may not have known it. This truly was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case closed, Lana was never the same. She became cold like she is today. Not even able to face up to what she did. Actually, not that. What did you see the instant the crime occurred? Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Marshall was stabbed right in front of her, this poor girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma, you've been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that incident. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago, I must have been 14, that's understandable. Same outfit, though. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. Decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I wanted to be able to fight crime with my testimonies. Found the evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any. I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand why women Semitic. It's still something that bothers me about that crime. Something that puzzles me. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at the time, right? That's right. Why then would the serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor. But there's no mystery there. Your Dark had been taken for questioning that day. Taken for questioning. You mean by the police? Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the entire interview and fled to my sister's office. Ooh, why did he run all the way over to his sister's office? His detective's office was in the questioning room, right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator. Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly. Did I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the boss of the entire force. Excuse me. After the Joe Dark case, transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. If this dude booked it out of the interviewing room after being questioned for murder, why do they have to falsify the evidence? Am I dying here? I know it's not concrete evidence, but like at that point, he's thrown away until the trial's over. He's in jail. I'm gonna talk with her. Lana, Mr. Wright, seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul, why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago. Now the S9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details? Especially about the unusual change for jobs? I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. Right. Alright, sorry. Man, what a beaut. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today. Revelations, sorry. Not the least of which was the fact that their case is largely accepted to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from the case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. The trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believe in you, Lana. I believe that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. Couldn't be helped, Trial 2 years ago, sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15 there was no one at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana, what the witness, Miss Starr, said? That you stabbed at Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lana, I don't understand. Why would you tell us? Emma? It doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana so phased before. Like the last time she did a complete 180 in her chair. This one did a 90 return. It's true, I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing. Talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant. He was the deputy chief of the police back then, but he still worked at crime scenes. Damon Gant. He was everything I aspired to be. He was the best team ever. Solved crimes before the reports could even be filed. Is that possible? I realized that really idolizes her big sister. Now you're chief prosecutor? What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes so you could use the experience in court, right? Gant's help in the S9 case was crucial to this resolution. After that, he became chief of the police. He arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of those other 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was second in command of all the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command. That means the investigation lead was David Gant, right? Yes. Deputy Chief Gant I shared the same office, the same investigations. They even had the same office. So I do a team of the best detectives in the force. The woman whose case is about was Jake Marshall and Angel Star. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Doubt Joe Dark was a serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when his final murder took place. We tried to murder him. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us. Him again and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages of Dark. Must have, suddenly panicked. Waiting for Gant, Marshall let the guards down and fled the room. From there, he rushed straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself. That's where you found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene. It appeared so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies. Prosecutor Marshall and the victim Emma, who had passed out. The suspect Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seemed Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? Beyonce was panicked. When the demo occurred, her out of the room and just held her. Can't blame her after all her system must have gone through. I think it could have been Gant that actually knocked out the guy. Or in there, also stabbed the guy in the back. After that, it placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in this online incident. That's right. What a coincidence, huh? Don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident. Just by chance. The case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person who went to a strange because he didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their life with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Man was assaulted by Dark in the police department. That's in the office that David Gant and I shared. Help us that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself in the Chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the Chief's office instead of the final SL9 murder. Goodbye. Anything new here? No one's here today, not even the star. Everyone's probably busy looking at what exactly went down in the evidence room. Must be where the detectives are. But we proved in the court today that only on the day of the crime, no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15 p.m. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case. Then it looks like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. Gotta find out the answers by tomorrow. I will be right back. I have to walk away for a couple minutes because this is non-stop reading and I get to relax my voice. I'll be right back.